When President-elect Donald Trump was campaigning, one of the things that people were able to brush under the rug was his bigotry, his sexism, his misogyny, because they believed, as working-class Americans, he was the only candidate that would look out for them. Well, fast forward to today, and it seems as though the individuals that he is working with and people that he plans on filling his cabinet with have no interest in protecting the working class or consumers in America. Case in point, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, which was created in 2010 and is the brainchild of Senator Elizabeth Warren. Now, a number of Republicans are pushing to basically dismantle the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. Senator Richard Shelby, who is a Republican senator from Alabama, says, "My top priority is either to bring the consumer agency under appropriations, which would give Congress the power to shrink its budget, or bar it from spending money on certain activities, or abolish it. But we'll have to see what we can do. I think it's been a nightmare to a lot of businesses, small businesses, unbridled power, arrogance."
So there was a nice slip of the tongue there by Richard Shelby where he said, it's terrible for business, because those are his donors and the guys who pay him off. And then he goes, oh, right, I meant small business, because that's their talking point. They don't get any money from small business. They get money from giant businesses. These guys are protecting you from banks like Wells Fargo. You think Wells Fargo is a small business? No, Wells Fargo is a giant business. But those are the same guys who pay for Richard Shelby's campaign donations, independent expenditures, etc. So Richard Shelby is their dog. So he'll go out there and go, okay, yeah, my talking point says, yes, small business doesn't have money to pay a senator and to pay lobbyists. Big business does. That's who you work for. Be honest. So these guys are robbing us. Let me tell you the degree to which they're robbing us. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, this is an amazing fact, returned nearly $12 billion to 27 million Americans. Now, the reason they did that was because they caught these financial companies running scams on you guys. And the companies had to admit, oops, that's a scam. They didn't, they could have fought it. If it was untrue, they'd go to court. They have an army of lawyers, right? They got caught with their hand in the cookie jar, and they're like, all right, fine. We probably still made more money off it. Let's just give the money, some of the money back. So 27 million Americans had been robbed by these bankers. And the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, because it protects consumers, fought back for you and got your money back, $12 billion. But those banks look at that and go, that's $12 billion I had planned to steal from you and put in my pocket. And these meddlesome people protecting consumers, they took $12 billion of my profits that I was going to take from you guys unjustly. And I had to give it back because the government's out there protecting you. God damn it. Let's elect Republicans. Make sure no one is protected but the banks. Well, mission accomplished. So you think Trump is going to drain the swamp? No, right now they're rubbing their hands going, yes, there are no rules anymore. Now the robbers rule the streets. Take all the cops off, don't protect the consumers, and let's just go at it. So the Richard Shelbys of the world, who are the most corrupt people in America, they talked about Hillary Clinton's corruption. And I pointed it out. I talked about systemic corruption. So anybody who watches this show knows we hate it when the Democrats do it. But if you think the Republicans are on your side, the joke's on you. They can't wait to rob you. And now that Trump's in, they're like, open season on consumers, on citizens, on the powerless. Let's give all the money to our donors. So if you thought corruption was bad under the Democrats, wait till you see it on steroids under Trump.
But Cenk, I just feel like you're being a smug elitist by wanting to talk about what people are actually going to do with their proposed policies. Why are we doing that? Like, why don't we focus on how the middle class and the working class in America has been completely ignored by establishment politicians, and we just need a man who tells it like it is? Look, the entire election was so frustrating because, look, Hillary Clinton was not my favorite candidate. Obviously, like, we were very brutal to her during the primaries and even after the primaries. But to say that she was a corporatist, even though it was fair, is a ridiculous criticism when her opponent is part of that corporate world who's been benefiting from deregulation, who's part of the privileged upper wealthy class in this country that loves the system of government that we have in place right now, and who hates what little regulation we managed to pass after 2008, right? The Consumer Protection Bureau was one of the good things that came out of that economic meltdown. And unfortunately, with Trump in power and with Republicans like Richard Shelby, and Roy Blunt having power along with him, they can do whatever they want. They're going to get rid of the one part of government that actually works right now.
So if you're frustrated by the establishment Democrats like Hillary Clinton and to some degree Barack Obama, I'm right there with you. You know, Obama created the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, for which he should get a lot of credit. But he did a kicking and screaming. And Elizabeth Warren, who was the person who's came up with the idea in the first place, everybody assumed that she would be put in charge of it, but Obama wouldn't do it because the bankers objected. So if you're frustrated by those Democrats, I'm right there with you. But if you think the Republicans are going to make it better, well, then you're totally wrong. It's one thing to say, it's binary thinking. Like, oh, my team, your team is bad, but my team's awesome. My team's great. Because Trump told me, man, I know I could trust him because he speaks in broken English. He speaks like a moron, so I know he's a real person. No, that's fake authenticity. That's fake populism. So he goes out there and speaks with a third grade vocabulary, and you think, okay, well, he's not a polished politician. I get it. You're right. Hillary Clinton, everything she said was scripted. I know that. But just because he speaks like an idiot doesn't mean he's honest. So you gave this guy a lot of power. And we told you about his foundation. We told you about everything he's ever done. So if you thought Hillary Clinton was corrupt, I hear you. But wait till you get a load of Donald Trump.
It's going to be way
First
worse.
thing he's going to do is hand off power to the richest people in America. So the next time they go to steal $12 billion from 27 million of you, and by the way, when they steal from you, they don't ask if you're a Republican. They don't ask if you're a Democrat. You think they're only taking from liberals? No, you're their first mark. The guys who trust the government, the guys, if it's a Republican government, the guys who trust giant corporations, come and see. We got great accounts for you. Come and see. Oh, yeah, you want to hand off power to Trump and the Republicans? Oh, wonderful. Come and see. Come and see. So don't cry when they rip you off, because that's what's coming next. We need independent media to make sure that we hold corporate media accountable. The people that can make that happen is you. You make the Young Turks possible. tytnetwork.com/join. Join us. Be the revolution.